Welcome to this episode on the Health and Happiness Show, where it's my mission to change your mindset so that you can live a healthy and happier life. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Let's go. Hey guys, it's Ollie here, and welcome back to another episode on the Health and Happiness Show. Today, we're going to be doing a mindset-based exercise. This is what I call priming the mind, and this was done to me just recently, and by the end of it, wow, I don't really know where to begin, but other than to say it was an emotional experience and a beautiful one. It was so powerful, in fact, that I did this just recently within the Health and Happiness Academy with the students, and they had the exact same response. And now I feel compelled to share it with an even larger audience, which is why we're on this podcast today. So here's what I need you to do. If you're watching this video, then you will see that you will need to draw a grid of 9 boxes, or if you're just listening to the podcast, then I need you to draw a grid with 9 boxes. So if you can do that for me now, pause the podcast if you need to, and but otherwise we will get started now. Most importantly of all, this is a very private and intimate exercise, and therefore I need you to ask that you do this at a time where you can be fully present. Do it in an environment where it's private and you're not going to be disturbed. If you've got distraction around you, then this exercise is not going to work. So I need you to take time in an environment where it's distraction free. Put your phone on airplane mode. Obviously download this podcast first, but otherwise we will get started into it. So make sure that you're fully present. If you're listening to this on a walk, come back and listen to it when you can be fully present. Why? Because the reward will be much greater from doing this exercise with that full attention. But otherwise, if we're ready, then we're going to get started into it. Now, what I would like you to do to initiate this exercise is I want you to focus on your breathing. And the reason why is because right now you're thinking consciously, and our breathing may be in a state of fight or flight. So essentially there are two stages of the central nervous system that are the sympathetic and parasympathetic. Now, we're not going into the science of them, but what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to move you from your sympathetic nervous system onto your parasympathetic. And essentially the differences between the two include, well, your sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight mode. This is what we need in that stress response, compared to your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your rest and digest. And if we're to look at what maybe meditation is, or the accomplishment of breath work is helping you get into the parasympathetic nervous system. So this is important, and this is how I want to open up and start this exercise today. So here's what I want you to do. If you are watching this right now, to close your eyes, or if you just listen to it, close your eyes, and we're going to focus on your breathing. So what I want you to do to begin with is I want you to focus on just taking a few deep breaths. Taking a nice deep breath in through the nose and then out through the mouth. And taking a deep breath in through the nose again and out through the mouth. And I want you to keep repeating that, and each time that you do, I want that breath to get a little bit bigger and deeper. So again, breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you go through this breathing exercise, what I really want you to concentrate on is breathing in positivity, happiness, joy and excitement. And as you breathe out, I want you to focus on letting go of all the negativity, the toxicity, the pain, the suffering, the jealousy, the hate. Let it all go. And now just repeat that cycle for me for the next few series of breathing. Breathe in the positivity and let go of the negativity. Mentally concentrate on this exercise. Breathe in the positivity and breathe out the negativity. And in doing so, you're going to create a sense of freedom and a sense of release, and you're going to escape for just 5 minutes. But focus now on that breathing for me. I want to change up the breathing slightly now. Okay, so we're in a nice rhythm of the breathing. And now I want to introduce to you the box breathing method. And to do this, we're going to breathe in for the count of 4 seconds. We're going to hold for 4 seconds. We're going to breathe it out for 4 seconds. And finally, we're going to let go for 4 seconds. So on my count, we're going to breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and let go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 1, 2, 3, 4, and let go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Continue with that cycle for me now. And as you continue, consciously think about concentrating on your breathing in the positivity and letting go the negativity. And this is going to initiate the priming of your mind as we go into the exercise today. Continue to breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and let go for 4. Do that for me now over the next 60 seconds. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and let go for 4. Breathing in the positivity and out the negativity. At this point, you should be in a nice rhythm now with your breathing, and by this point, there's a change occurring. That change is that you're switching from the conscious mind into the subconscious mind. This is where the magic happens and the poetry is created. At this point, I want you to open up your eyes and now become into the magic and into the exercise. That is priming your mind. That is the podcast today. If you haven't already, take the time to draw your grid because we're going to get started. You should now have 9 boxes in front of you. And within each box, we're going to be expressing a lot of emotion into each box, because throughout these next 9 boxes, we're going to be going through a journey. We're going to be taking you through a journey, and this is going to be an emotional experience. But I want you to know that that's okay. And if you don't get anything out of this exercise, then that's also okay. Because right now, you may be in the mindset, you may be in the frame of mind to do this exercise, or this may not be the right exercise for you right now, depending on how much or how little it resonates. That's okay. But if you can pay me your attention for the next 15 to 20 minutes, then I'm going to be so grateful. Let's get underway. In box number 1, I want you to write down where you started on this journey. What did that look like? What was your starting point? What got you underway on that journey? That may be last week. That may be last year. That may be 10 years ago for you. But where did you start on your journey? That journey to maybe losing weight. That journey to getting started in your career. That journey to, finding love in your now partner, in your now husband or wife. Where did that journey start for you? What did it look like? How did it feel? Be vivid in your imagination here. Go into detail. Write all that comes to mind right now in that box. Take your time. There's no rush during this exercise. Where did you start? What would you pinpoint that starting point to your journey? Take your time. As we move into box 2, and now we need to write down perhaps what some of those stepping stones were that got you underway on that journey. So in this box, think about some of the people that maybe inspired you at this point. Maybe there was a role model or a mentor who came into your life During that moment, as you are getting underway on this journey to a healthy and happier life, to finding love and a partner, to having money, to whatever it is that pursuit was for you, what were some of those stepping stones? Were they people? Were they products? Were they resources? Was that a course? Was it a membership? What were some of the stepping stones that helped you get underway on this journey? And take your time now, 30 seconds to put that down. And be reassured that if you want to come back to any of these exercises or any of these boxes throughout the duration of this, you can. In fact, I expect you to. Because again, the more we get into this practical exercise, the more the unconscious mind will kick in. So really think about what some of those stepping stones were. Was it that course? Was it that investment? Was it that app? Was it that book? And as we move into box 3, I want you to ask, what were my biggest goals back then? What were your goals back then? What was the dream back then? What did you want to achieve? What did you want to shout at the rooftops? What was the vision? Dig deep into that right now for me. This is important. Take your time. I'm not going to ask you to share your results here. I want you to go deep and I want you to go intimate. Dig deep into what your big goals were then. Again, this is in relation to going back to the start of your journey. Box number 3, what were some of your biggest goals back then? The aspirations, the dream, the vision. What were your biggest goals back then? Take time now to write those down. Think hard about it. Think about it. Go deep. What are those goals? How big did you dream? That's the question. How small did you dream? There's no right or wrong answer. And then as we move into box number 4, I want you to think about and write down maybe what was preventing you from getting there. You had this big goal, you had these big goals. What was now preventing you from getting there, right? You're running this race, but now you've encountered a number of hurdles that have prevented you from getting to where you want to be, maybe as easily or as efficiently as you would have liked. What was preventing you from getting there? Was it a lack of time? Was it a lack of money? Was it a lack of self-belief? Was it a lack of clarity and guidance? Was it a lack of support from your environments, your social circles? What were some of the things that were preventing you from getting to where you want to be? Look, I won't be surprised if this revisits some challenging memories, right? These were the hurdles and the obstacles and the challenges that you had to face and maybe overcome along the way of you on that journey. What were some of the things that were preventing you from getting to where you wanted to be? Take the time now to write that down. And then as we move into box 5, I want you to really think about who was with you on that journey to achieving those goals. Who was with you as you embarked on this journey to achieving the goals that you set in box 3? Who was with you? Was it your partner? Was it your friends? Was it your family? Was it one particular person? Was it 10 particular people? Was it someone who you had never even met? Or was it a mentor? Who was with you to achieving your goals? Maybe it was just yourself. Maybe you didn't have that support from anybody else. Write that down. Write down who was with you on this journey to achieving your goals. This is a powerful box, so take that time. Take your time to really dig deep into answering that question. And like I said, if you need to go back to any of the previous boxes that we've mentioned so far, then please do so, because the more descriptive that you can become during this detailed exercise, the more you're going to get out of it. Now, as we move into box number 6, I want you to answer this question. What would you tell your younger self in the first box? So going back to where you started on this journey, if you could go back in time to that day, to that date, what would you tell your younger self? What advice would you give? What would you tell them? What would you tell them to look out for? The challenges that would crop up, the wins that you'd make. What would you tell your younger self if you could go back to the first box? Take your time. Now, as we move into box number 7, what would you want other people to say about you? What would you want other people to say about you? How would they describe you? What words come to mind? What words come to mind, and what would other people say about you? Would it be positive? Would it be negative? Would it be what you want to hear? Or would those words hurt? Take the time now to write down what you'd want other people to say about you. How would they describe you? What would they say? And how would that make you feel? Write that down. What would you want other people to say about you? As you continue to go through this exercise, continue to breathe. Look, I won't be surprised at this point if you're getting quite emotional. Trust me when I say that when I did this exercise myself, I was in tears. And that's okay. And if you're not getting emotional, that's also okay. This is your journey, this is your experience, this is your exercise right now. Go into as much detail as you can and be as descriptive as you can. We're going down memory lane in this mental exercise. Now, as we look forward into the future, I want you to answer the question and answer what will be written one day on your headstone. So look, we're at your funeral. We're celebrating your life. What would be written on your headstone? Would it be a particular word, a particular couple words? Would it be a phrase or a memory or an aha moment? What would be written on your headstone to celebrate your life? What would be written on your headstone? Write that down in box number 8. I'm sure whatever you've written down has been pretty powerful, to say the least. So thank you for going into as much detail. Thank you for taking the time to this exercise. As we move into box 9 of 9, I want you to write down, what are some of your lifetime goals? Not your goals for today or this week or this year, but what are some of your lifetime goals? Write those down. It can be 1, it can be 5, it can be 10. Be big here. Be bold, be brave, be ambitious. What are some of the goals that you want to achieve and accomplish in this lifetime, in this one lifetime? A quantity of time that is down to you to live the highest quality of. What are your lifetime goals? What do you want to achieve? What impact do you want to have? What's the legacy that you want to leave? Take that time now to write that down. And as you write your final words, I want you to take the time now to look over your 9 boxes and use this time to maybe add, to maybe subtract from all or any of that you have written in either of the 9 boxes. This is the time to go back and revisit some of the words that you have written down in and on this exercise right now. This is your time. Add, subtract, take away, bring in. This is up to you. This is your exercise. This is your mind we're diving and tapping into right now. So look, as we review this exercise, let's review and revise the questions that we have asked. So looking back into box number 1, where did you start on your journey? Box number 2, what were some of the stepping stones that got you underway on this journey? In box 3, what were your biggest goals back then? Box 4, what was preventing you from getting there? Box 5, who was with you to achieving your goals? Box 6, what would you tell your younger self going back to the first box? In box 7, what would you want other people to say about you? Box 8, what will be written one day on your headstone? And finally, in box 9, what are some of your lifetime goals? Now, as we conclude this, I want to take the time to look back and for you to really dive deep into some of the answers that you wrote. And look, as I'm talking you through this exercise right now, honestly, even I'm starting to get a little bit emotional again, because this exercise was really quite deep for me and it was an emotional experience. Let's get back to box number 1 together. One thing we are inherently bad at is giving ourselves the praise that we deserve, right? We deserve praise. We deserve recognition. Because let me tell you something. You, yes, you, on the other end of this podcast, listening to this right now, I want you to know something. I am proud of you. And I want to say that because if you are like me, then I would imagine that you have gone through some amount of shit, right? Throughout and during your life. And yet you are still standing here today. And going back to box number 1, you are a lot further along the way of your journey compared to where you were one day back in box number 1. Now let's get back into number 2. certainly when I did this exercise, it was kind of challenging because unfortunately, many of the people that helped me get on those stepping stones are no longer in my life for different reasons and for varying ones. But they were some of the people in my life that are no longer in my life. They were some of the stepping stones that helped me get underway on this journey. And it may or may not be similar for you. Box number 3, similar to box number 1 in relation to the progression, I would imagine that maybe you've achieved many, if not all, of the goals that you one day set out. Or if your experience doing this exercise was anything like mine, then maybe you hadn't achieved or haven't achieved any of the exercises that you or any of the goals that you wrote down in that box. This is where it started to get a little bit painful for me, because as you will know, my philosophy in life is about maximizing time. And I had the hard lesson that in box number 3, I'd maybe arguably wasted a lot of time in my pursuit, maybe of the wrong goals or maybe of just not achieving them. But that's okay, because this is a journey, and this is a journey of challenge and testing, right? There is no instruction manual to life. That's okay. You're doing the best that you can. I'm doing the best that I can. And this is now, today, the story that we can one day tell to our younger self. Let's dive into that. Let's dive into that box. Number 6. The lessons that you would tell number 6, that box, going back to those younger days. What that shows me and what that tells me is experience, is strength, is your ability to endure. Because along the way, the lessons that you would tell your younger self shows that you've had to overcome, shows that you have learned. These are lessons that are invaluable. Why? Because you're now telling your younger self. Why? Because you're now able to proceed into today, the present, with that knowledge. That's powerful. Let's dive deep into box number 5. For me, at the very least, this was challenging because truthfully, there's only one person that was with me on my journey to achieving the goals that I wrote in box number 3. That one person was my mum. And I'm happy and proud to share this because I find gratitude and thanks in having that one person. Maybe that's a default answer because I think our parents, for myself at least, or for the majority of us, will always have that support. And for those that maybe haven't had that support from their parents, or at least one parent, that love and support will be indirect. Look, we want that love, and that love from our parents is unconditional, okay? I don't know your story, I don't know your upbringing, but what I know is that your parents love you on an unconditional level. Whether you've had that love, and whether you received that love, they love you. Aside from my mom, though, when I did this exercise, I came to learn that actually I was lonely on this journey. It was only me who really supported me on this journey. And it all came down to one thing for me. And the only thing that kept me going on my journey was my vision. Going back to box number 3. Let's go into box number 7. This is a powerful box for a number of reasons. But the words that people would use to describe you is important. Are they what you wanted to hear? Are they aligned with your values? Because if they're not, then the power of this exercise right now is you have that opportunity to change it. And if they are the words that you wanted to hear, then congratulations, because you are aligned with your values, and that is invaluable. Number 8, what will be written on your headstone? I think at this point I choked up, because as you guys know, not so long ago, that headstone metaphor became a lot more real for me and vivid within my vision. At the time of recording this right now, it's the 22nd of May. Tomorrow is my birthday, where I will celebrate my 24th year on this planet. If we had to go back 3 years then, it wasn't so long ago that I was told that, Ollie, you won't see your 26th birthday. Being given that prognosis, it was hard, right? For obvious reasons. And as I go into my birthday celebration tomorrow, I will very much be celebrating good health and great happiness today. Referring back to box number 8, what will be written on your headstone? Does that make you proud? Or does that make you sad? This is beautiful, because this is your opportunity right now to make sure that what one day does get written on your headstone will be what you want it to be. Finally, in box number 9, what were your lifetime goals? I have and will share now very openly that my lifetime goal is to impact and serve 1 million people through and with the Health and Happiness Academy. Because just 3 years ago, it was feeling like there was 1 million people who helped and served me and who gave me my health and happiness back. My lifetime goal is big. It's ambitious. It's optimistic. But that's vision. Because when you have a vision, you have guidance, and you have an aim, and you have a target, and you have something to work towards. Because the real power is in the pursuit. Let's talk about happiness for a second. We all want to be happy. We're all working towards happiness. But the real success and the real pursuit of happiness isn't actually achieving happiness itself. It's going along that journey to creating happiness. Can happiness ever be fully achieved and fulfilled? I believe it can, but what's more important than that is that along the way of that journey, you are working towards happiness, and that you're experiencing it, and that you're making decisions and actions every single day that are going to create a healthy and happier version of you tomorrow. I hope this exercise has been valuable today and has tapped in not only deep within your head, but deep within your heart and deep within your soul and your whole being. This is a powerful exercise, but maybe if that power isn't there today, then I would most definitely encourage you to revisit this exercise and to reapply once again when you feel ready to. If this was valuable, then equally I'd recommend that you revisit this exercise at least once a year. Why? To make sure that your values and your vision are aligned with what actions and steps that you're taking today. It's been a pleasure delivering this episode for a number of different reasons, but I thank you for your time and attention in listening today. So as always, stay healthy, be happy, take